A warm welcome to NTA Nationwide. I am Elizabeth Banu. The first batch of 480 intending pilgrims from the FCT arrived in Medina, Saudi Arabia, Sunday evening. They were received on arrival by the representative of the Nigerian ambassador in Riyadh, Mohammed Danjuma, the Consul General Jeddah, Secretary to Hajj Commission and other officials. A report by Chief Information Officer of the Commission, Adamu Hassan Abdullahi, says the pilgrims, 20 officials of the National Hajj Commission, arrived safely and profiled without any inconvenience. Addressing the pilgrims, Ambassador Mohammed Danjuma advised them to be of good behavior and avoid any acts that will pitch them against the law. Nigeria's Consul General Jeddah, who spoke in Hausa, warned the pilgrims against wandering aimlessly without their documents and also advised against frivolous purchases. Secretary to the Commission, Dr. Bello Tambuwal, assured the pilgrims of the Commission's commitment to their welfare and protection once they keep to the laws of the land. Nigeria has not fully tapped the economic and diplomatic benefits of its massive contributions to global peacekeeping operations. Former Chief of Defense Staff General Martin Luther Agwai said this at the graduation ceremony of the Nigerian Army contingent at the Army Peacekeeping Center, Jaji, Kaduna State, and the renaming of the institution. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Nigeria's flag flying high in the midst of developed nations, notable in peacekeeping operations. The Nigerian Army Peacekeeping Center was established in 2004 as a wing in the Command and Staff College Jaji, with the mandate of training military and paramilitary personnel in peacekeeping and crisis management. Nigeria, Africa's largest troops contributor to global peacekeeping operations, has contributed about 20,000 troops to 40 peacekeeping missions from 1960 to date.
Today's graduation ceremony further confirms the commitment of Nigerian Army to deploy quality peacekeepers as part of Nigeria's laudable contributions to global peace and security.
The center has been renamed with expanded mandate of leadership training and conflict management in view of General Agwai's global contribution to peacekeeping.
UN operation, we have lost over 2,000 souls. What do we have to show for it? As we are going into peace operation, we must have a strategy of what will benefit from that.
These 230 soldiers and officers, members of Company 2, Nigerian Army contingent, are set for immediate induction into the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Liberia. From Jaji, Kaduna State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and Governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, says there is no need to worry about the declaration of some northern youths asking a particular group of Nigerians to vacate the north. Governor Shettima made this known to newsmen shortly after meeting with the leadership of the coalition of northern youths at the Borno State Governor's Lodge in Abuja. Saliu Abdullahi reports.
This declaration by the Northern Youth Group asking Southeasterners residing in the north to leave by October this year has received mixed reactions from Nigerians who believe that the unity of the country is not negotiable. Arising from the recently concluded meeting of Northern Governors in Kaduna, Governor Kashim Shettima, as chairman, met with the group on behalf of the 19 governors. Deliberations was behind closed doors.
We have formed a common understanding on the challenges confronting us as a people, because a political problem needs a political solution. criminalizing them, harassing them, intimidating them will not find solutions to our challenges. They hold us in the highest esteem. They have agreed to review their decision. We'll follow it up with logical conclusion. And inshallah, in the next couple of days, we are going to get good news from them.
Spokesperson of the group, Abdulaziz Suleiman, described the meeting as a bold step towards a peaceful resolution of issues at stake.
This is the first time we are meeting publicly with any leader collectively. So we believe this is a major step, and we will go on with our consultations.
The group is expected to make further consultations with other relevant organizations and interest groups with a view to have a virile, united and peaceful Nigeria. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Mixed reactions have continued to trail the current attempt to amend the 1999 Constitution by the 8th National Assembly. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, while reviewing the 4th attempt, so far say the process is characterized by palpable alienation of the people who own the Constitution. Lydia Sampson reports.
The guest who commended electronic transparent voting, however, said Nigerians don't feel a sense of engagement and involvement. While appreciating that constitution amendment is always an onerous task, the guest decried the tilting of some of the bills, leading to their undue expulsion.
Nigerians most Nigerians have grown and have come of age to have been consulted, But then they were settled in the minds of some Nigerians. Now, it was good to start the process early. And starting the process early, at midterm, they've had a vote on it, which is very, very commendable.
All those amendments named devolution of power was, in a way, in my opinion, giving the states an opportunity to create more revenue for itself, as opposed to taking away federal government powers per se.
I also stand to say that the amendment which the National Assembly have done now amounts to a barren exercise. At the end, it's an exercise in futility.
Responding to the issues raised, Senator Aliu Sabi Abdullahi said some contentious issues will not go away because of actions taken, stressing that it is a learning process.
When you have a process, I think a lot of issues will begin to aggregate towards making that process clearer. That is just what I've seen. The Senate President is saying that perhaps based on the outcry arising from how this issue was treated, a lot of Nigerians have raised issues and the National Assembly will consider.
On the 35% affirmative action, the guests say it is not a matter for the Constitution, for it is a global issue to which Nigeria is signatory to the UN Convention.
A lot of countries have gone ahead in adopting that affirmative action. South Africa, countries like Rwanda, countries like Mozambique have gotten to about 30%. Paul Kagame of Rwanda had taken the lead globally, is at 49%.
They stress the need for greater involvement of the people at the remaining stages at the state level. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The National Council on Education says it stands by the resolution of the 2016, which emphasizes that Christian religious and Islamic studies be separated from religion and national values and handled as standalone subjects. This is one of the resolutions reached at the end of the meeting held in Kano. Abdullah Mustafa has details.
The National Council on Education is the highest policy-making body in the Nigeria's education sector. Delegates to the annual meeting of the Council are officials from the Federal and State Ministries of Education, Higher Education, Science and Technology, the FCT Education Secretariat, as well as other relevant parastatals. The 62nd meeting held in Kano has the theme, Creating Quality Learning Opportunities for All, Implications for Concurrency in Education in Nigeria. Its major focus is how to reduce to barest minimum the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria. At the end of the ministerial technical session chaired by the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, the Council adopted a number of resolutions. The major issue is of separation from religion and national values of Christian religious and Islamic studies.
Bundling Christian religious knowledge, Islamic religious knowledge with national values is actually undervalued religion. And I directed, or I requested, and the National Council of Education accepted with me that this policy is cancelled. So if there is anybody who believes that policy was done in order to Islamize Nigeria, they shouldn't be blaming me. They should give me commendation for cancelling it.
Also considered is the cancellation of second interview test of the National Common Entrance Examination by the Federal Ministry of Education. The Council further restated the need for adequate funding, provision of learning materials, equipment, and structures in inclusive schools. While commending the government and people of Kano State for the successful hosting of the 62nd National Council on Education meeting, it was also adopted that the 63rd meeting be held in Borno State. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Still in Kano, the 13 billion naira awarded contract for the Western Bypass Road since 2007 with the hope of completion in 36 months has continued to suffer a major setback. It is against this backdrop that Muhammad Rabiu Ali went out to find out the reasons for the delay of the project.
The contract for the construction of Kano Western Bypass dual carriageway was awarded in 2007 with the sum of more than 13 billion naira for the completion period of 36 months. Inadequate cash flow and security challenges resulted in the extensions and review of the contract, which has a distance of 26.6 kilometers. When the present administration came into power, it funded the outstanding project, but up to this moment, the project has not been completed. This is Bridge 2, 9 kilometers of Kano Western Bypass, where the construction work stops. But the question is, what brings the slow pace of this project?
The contractor only suspended work. Unfortunately, this contractor has not been performing on site as expected. That's why we are recording slow progress of work.
The Federal Controller further says developers along the site projects also contributed to the slow pace.
People have commenced building close to the road. We have written to them, we have marked their properties. We have also reached out to the Development Control Agency of Kano State, that is Kanubda, to come and do their statutory function.
Representative of the contracting firm speaks.
Before the rain season, we were working on the approach of kilometer 9, where you have seen the railway bridge, and we have made the approach with the earth moving. Now, because of rain season, we stopped the earth moving and we jumped to the second stage, which it is piling for bridge number 4. It's down there, even you cannot go with normal vehicle there, but we are right now working there with piling for preparing of the next bridge.
He therefore assured people of Kano and motorists plying the road of timely completion of the project. From Kano, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Nationwide. Federal government reiterates determination to harness the potential of youths in the country. And Demola brings us details of this and other stories making the rounds in Lagos and environs. It's over to you, Demola.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to Lagos. The federal government has concluded plans to harness the creative potentials in Nigerian youths by making available startup grants to building talent in the entertainment industry. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, disclosed this at an event where spoken word as a genre of poetry was used to inspire self-development in youths in Lagos. Musa Toliat has the details.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who was a special guest at the event, said spoken word as a form of poetry is capable of encouraging Nigerian youths to express their impression about personal and national issues in a clear and subtle manner. The spoken word event, tagged Open All-White Finale, featured several sessions on diverse topics. They include the life of a woman, air mishaps in the country, and the plight of the broken-hearted.
We'll forget to argue about whether the aircraft was 22 years old or 21 and a half. But we were too afraid to swim the distance, so we chose instead to spread our faulty wings and fly towards the fire of the sun.
Intermittent live band performances added color to the night.
I can't work out what I've done wrong. Life is beautiful. Don't you think so too, Mr. J.R.?
Thrilled by various sessions of the entertainment field night, the Information and Culture Minister hinted that the federal government has set aside funds which will soon be accessed by youth for talent development.
We've succeeded in getting a 300 million naira loan from the Bank of Industry to support young talents like this. And very soon we are going to make available to Nigerians how they can access these funds. This fund is actually meant for startups, young artists, young people in the creative industry that need some support.
The spoken word event is part of the several private initiatives supported by the federal government to engage the youth positively for national growth and development. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry says it will continue to reward excellence among local industries and institutions committed to promoting growth of investment in Nigeria. President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Nike Akande, made this declaration at the Chamber's General Commerce and Industry Awards held in Lagos. Amechi Pius has the details.
The award ceremony brought together operators of businesses both in public and private sectors of the economy. The award recipients, apart from distinguishing themselves in their various fields, have also consistently made remarkable impact on the nation's economy. Obviously impressed by their outstanding performances, despite the prevailing difficult business environment, President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry said the award is to reward hard work and dedication.
There are a lot of things that people are doing and not being appreciated. We have taken it upon ourselves to appreciate excellence.
Recipients were presented with certificates and the award icon, the Manila, in the various categories ranging from CSR Company of the Year, Public-Private Partnership Success Story, to Innovation in Technology.
I'd like to thank the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the recognition, and really also to thank Nigeria for giving us back as much as we gave it.
I'm very optimistic, and this is why we are working very hard at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce to make sure that we help our members to understand what is going on in the country.
The Lagos State Governor, Oni of Ife, and the Senate President were represented at the 4th edition of the award. In Lagos, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
The Minister of State for Petroleum, Ibe Kachuku, has charged key players in the oil and gas industry to develop a strategy that will help reduce the current high level of production in the sector. He stated this at a forum in Lagos. Rotimi Oluwagbemi compiled this report.
The minister highlighted some of the challenges facing the oil and gas industry in Nigeria, called for urgent transformation of the sector, given the fact that investments are disappearing, coupled with the challenges of infrastructural gap in the sector. Ibe Kachuku, who commended the diversification of the economy embarked upon by the federal government, however, emphasized the need to work to achieve success in the oil and gas industry to boost the diversification program in the sector.
People are moving away from oil. The lifespan of oil, from whatever calculations you do, is probably within 25 and 30-year period. That's what it is. Everybody's moving away. Electric cars are taking over. Environmentally friendly power sources of supply are taking over. Solar systems are kicking in. So very soon, what will happen really is that even the funds to be able to address your oil exploration will become not available. Because funds follow market, they follow returns. And if returns in oil continue to sag the way they have sagged over the last 2-3 years, there'll be no future for oil.
The minister also commended the anti-corruption crusade of the Buhari's administration and said it will go a long way towards sanitizing the oil and gas industry.
That's our package from Lagos. It's back to you, Elizabeth, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Demola. Now, to forestall continuous maiming of rangers in the 7 national parks in Nigeria, the National Parks Service is to adopt digital technology to increase its surveillance. This came to light at the 2017 World Conservation Day in Abuja. Mie Ogidi reports.
The National Parks Service in Nigeria was established in 1979 to protect the nation's natural and cultural treasure, as well as the iconic wildlife. But the parks rangers, whose primary duty is to stop wildlife crime, are maimed by trespassers and sometimes killed by the same iconic animals they are protecting.
31st of July 2016 to date, we lost 1 ranger, but overall, we have lost 28 rangers so far in the country, and about 24 have been maimed.
Despite this risk, these officers lack recognition and no firearm to retaliate when confronted.
The national park is not visible enough. There's need for greater visibility for the national park.
Advice by the police force to the National Security Advisor on how to upgrade our firepower.
Ibrahim Guni, who assumed office this year as the Conservator General of the National Parks Service, is optimistic to overcome these challenges.
We have to implore services like SMART, these camera trackers, the use of drone. So all these facilities will help us in surveillance.
As the world marks the 2017 Rangers Day, the call for all to preserve the environment, especially the wildlife, was re-echoed. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
The latest Federal Capital Territory land reform introduced by the FCT Minister, which includes an embargo on land allocation by local chiefs, have been commended as policies that will ensure transparency in land administration in the nation's capital. This was part of the conclusion reached at the end of a meeting of former chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council with the current chairman, Abdullahi Adamu Gandido. Habiba Oladipo reports.
The issue of land acquisition and grabbing has been a major concern to successive administration in the FCT. This again came to the fore when past chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council held a crucial meeting with the current chairman, Abdullahi Adamu Gandido. They commended the introduction of land reform in the Federal Capital Territory, stating that it was a necessary step to stop the abuse of land acquisition processes. The meeting decried the situation where a parcel of land was being allocated to several buyers, resulting to long years of litigations.
It's a welcome reform that must be supported if only we want to have a decent means and ways of owning of land.
AMAC chairman Gandido said the meeting with his predecessors was to tap from their wealth of experience in the face of daunting challenges of administering the cosmopolitan city like Abuja.
We have challenge of how to offer service to the people. We cannot offer this service if the resources are not there. And so we cannot do it alone. I can't do it alone.
We agreed that never again that Municipal Area Council will use force to collect any revenue.
They all agreed to be meeting twice in a year to lend their voices to the growth of Abuja city. In Abuja, Habiba Oladipo, NTA News.
50 prison inmates regain freedom in Enugu. This and more with Beauty. It's over to you, Beauty.
Heartwarming to see you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Enugu. Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi has presented checks of 50,000 naira to each of the 100 winners that emerged through a raffle draw of the Traders Empowerment Scheme at Udi in Enugu State. Ijoma Agweke, we complete that report.
The Oriagu Udi Market, venue for the 6th edition of the Enugu Traders Empowerment Scheme, was filled with traders, different political groups, traditional rulers, and government officials who came out to witness the presentation of checks of 50,000 naira each to the 100 winners who emerged through a raffle draw. Governor Ugwuanyi reiterated his commitment to boost economic activities in the state and pledged to introduce Widows Empowerment Scheme in line with his administration's promise.
The scheme
offers traders in the state the opportunity to make the best of New Dawn, more especially as winners of the lottery are expected to reinvest the money into their various businesses.
Some key players in the area and winners of the raffle draw appreciated Governor Ugwuanyi for the landmark achievements so far recorded by the present administration. They said it will spur them to venture into other businesses. They promised to support this administration to ensure it succeeds in fulfilling all its promises to the benefit of the people. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
In line with the welfare agenda of Ebonyi State government aimed at reducing poverty to its barest, especially among the vulnerable groups, Governor David Umahi has released over 100 million naira to empower selected indigent widows from the 171 electoral wards in the state. Chinaza John reports.
Moved by the plight of these women, Governor David Umahi gave out 100,000 naira each to enable them embark on any trade of their choice for self-reliance. Governor Umahi was represented by his deputy, Dr. Kelechi Igwe.
The governor is asking you today, if you want to cultivate your backyard, there is money made available to you. His Excellency has judiciously fulfilled by transferring the sum of 171 million through the Office of Commissioner for Finance and Accountant General to the account of the Ebonyi State Welfare Office.
The beneficiaries joy knew no bound. Stakeholders at the event who lauded the initiative said it will improve their living standard if judiciously utilized.
There is no gainsaying the fact that these 1,171 widows, drawn from all political wards of Ebonyi State, will now live above poverty line. And it is also expected that those who invest their money properly will also receive more next year. In Abakaliki, Chinaza John, NTA News.
50 inmates have regained their freedom at the just concluded prison visit embarked upon by the Chief Judge of Enugu State, Justice Priscilla Emehelu. Ifeoma Okole reports that the Chief Judge said the visit is part of measures to decongest the prisons.
Out of the 50 inmates, 12 were discharged unconditionally, while 38 were granted bail. The prison formations visited by the Chief Judge include the maximum security prison, Enugu, Nsukka and Oje River prisons, respectively. The Chief Judge of Enugu State, Justice Priscilla Emehelu, said the targeted inmates for the jail delivery were those who might have exceeded their required prison terms if they had been convicted. She regretted that some inmates who were granted bail since last year are yet to fulfill their bail conditions and called on their relations to come forward and do so.
There has been a great improvement in the filing of information and proofs of evidence, which had before now had clogged the wheel of justice.
The controller of prisons, Enugu State Command, Mrs. Carlo Ukwore, appealed to the Chief Judge to make jail delivery a regular exercise in the state. Some of the inmates who were discharged expressed their joy.
I will give my life to Christ.
The Chief Judge was accompanied on the visit by the judges of the Enugu State High Court and other members of the state judiciary. In Enugu, Ifeoma Okole, NTA News.
A total of 1,926 corps members of the 2017 Batch A, Stream 2 have been inaugurated for a 2-week orientation course at Ogu in Enugu. Enugu State Governor on the occasion promised to make their service here in the state a worthwhile experience. Ngozi Sivdak Technical has that report.
Effective leadership.
That was the formal swearing in of the corps members by the representative of the State Chief Judge, Justice Obudu. The State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, who was represented while declaring the orientation course open, pledged the state government's continuous commitments towards actualizing the core mandate of the National Youth Service Scheme. He told them to be patriotic and disciplined. The governor's representative urged the corps members to ensure that they participate in the training in order to excel in their future endeavors.
Though the program will task your mental and physical capacity, but it also provides you an opportunity to acquire knowledge.
The state coordinator of the National Youth Service Corps, Alhaji Ahmed Ikaka, the newly appointed Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Joseph Udedi, congratulated the corps members, stating that the orientation training is to prepare them to assume leadership positions and contribute to nation building. Some of the corps members promised to take their oath seriously. From Enugu, Ngozi Silva, Technical, NTA News.
We're done here, Elizabeth. It's back to you in Abuja.
Thank you, Beauty. Now, as part of efforts to ensure timely preparation, submission, execution and monitoring of the nation's budget, the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, through the Budget Office of the Federation, has organized a training for ministries, departments and agencies on the 2018 budget preparation. Kolo Muhammad reports.
Hampering effective budget implementation include delay in preparation, submission and passage. These has largely been attributed to the absence of technology in the process of budget preparation.
This will be the first time that MBAs will be using GIFMIS to carry out both budget preparation and budget execution. This, we believe, will help enhance the smooth and seamless linkage between budget preparation, submission, execution, monitoring, evaluation, and reporting compared to when the budget was prepared outside GIFMIS and then imported into GIFMIS for execution.
About 4,250 participants from over 800 agencies of the federal government are to be trained at different centers across the 6 geopolitical zones. In Abuja, Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. This is NTA Nationwide. Time to take a break to bring you some messages. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
Many Nigerian children cannot afford to go to school because they live in poverty. Instead of enjoying education and its benefits, they get involved in street trading to help themselves and their families survive. The Rochers Foundation is a humanitarian organization which currently caters for over 15,000 less privileged children in various schools all over Nigeria. The foundation has a goal to take thousands of less privileged children off the streets and provide them with free quality education from secondary school to the university as part of her Vision 2030. Admission forms are free and available online and at all Rochers Foundation colleges at Owerri, Jos, Ibadan, Kano, Enugu, Sokoto, Yola, Bauchi, Zaria and Oboko. For further details, visit www.rochersfoundation.org. Rochers Foundation, we educate to empower.
Yes, we are all guilty of this. We judge people based on ethnic group.
My father only took a look at your picture, not pictures, and shouted, "Hey, see this tribal mark."
We judge people based on the area they reside.
Samson comes from a place where kidnapping is rampant.
We judge people before we have a chance to know them closely.
Have you gone to Udog place to look for your dog?
Unbelievable. Stereotypes. Another rib-cracking episode of your #1 television comedy series. Professor John Boo explores and explodes this terrible societal ill. Keep a date with Professor John Boo series and laugh like never before.
Where you come from, sir? Come from Umeu. Hey! Umeu! What's up? Why the shout? Those people sabi thief goat. Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Sharon Ultimate Hotels, Abuja. The ultimate place to be.
This is The Place.
This is where you make that bold move.
This is where it all happens.
This is where dreams are made. Join us every Sunday from 6:30 p.m. on NTA and Star Times. Be part of Nigeria's biggest game show event.
Give and take.
Win big. Live your dreams.
The power to win is within.
Perspectives on local government autonomy. This is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. NTA Tuesday Live. Incisive, informative, and educative. Join us.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Nationwide. The Federal Ministry of Health is sensitizing law enforcement agencies and the media on content of the National Tobacco Control Act 2015 at a workshop. The roles of these relevant agencies as frontliners in the implementation process were spelt out. Chimdima Ndubisi reports.
The World Health Organization says tobacco use has reached epidemic level with over 1 billion smokers globally. More than 6 million of them die annually from direct smoking, while about 890,000 others die from second-hand smoke. According to Nigeria's 2012 Global Adult Tobacco Survey, about 4.5 million adults currently use tobacco products.
When taken as prescribed by the manufacturers, kills up to half of its users, mainly by contributing significantly to the cause of non-communicable diseases, such as cardiovascular diseases, cancers, diabetes mellitus, and chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases.
With this in view, Nigeria became a party to the World Health Organization's Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, enacting the National Tobacco Control Act in 2015 as the legal instrument to control tobacco production, marketing, and consumption. It's to ensure that this act does not fail like other legislations on tobacco ban over the years that these relevant agencies are being enlightened.
In addition to enforcement, the Nigerian Customs Service will also be key in the area of reviewing taxes, because taxes have been known to have improved greatly the tobacco control activities in other countries.
Prohibition of smoking in public gathering spaces that can be found in Section 9 of the Act. Owners of public gathering places, they need to be prosecuted if they don't comply. Then again, prohibition of tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship of any kind is also found in Section 12.
If our men are out there and we see people who are smoking in playgrounds, we have no choice but to arrest such people and prosecute them.
This act is in line with the WHO's evidence-based strategy on implementing tobacco control policies, termed EMPA. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
Security operatives canvass for support for national peace and human rights development. Details with Fatai in Ibadan. It's over to you, Fatai.
Thank you, Elizabeth Banu, and it is a warm welcome to the Cradle, Ibadan. The police, prisons, and the judiciary in Oyo and Osun states are working on promoting human rights within the system. To this end, officers of the security and judicial sectors met in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Folaranmi completes the report.
The Human Rights Training Program attracted top and lower ranks of the Nigerian police, Nigerian prisons, and the judiciary, selected from Oyo and Osun states. Oyo State Commissioner of Police Abiodun Odude and his counterpart from Osun State, Olafemihon Adioye, in their speeches submitted that the police needs to collaborate with non-governmental organizations to build an effectively secured society.
Police is conscious of the kind of negative reports about human rights violations. It's expected that the training will enhance their capacity with a view to ensuring better service delivery.
Recently, the government is doing a lot. Part of what they are doing is this training to bring us to international standard.
I expect that from this training, prison personnel have a better and clearer understanding, and definitely practice will be improved.
Officers from both security agencies brainstormed on achieving an ideal community through annexing of natural and human resources in determining the standard of effectiveness of secured and safe society. In Ibadan, Oyeyinka Folaranmi, NTA News.
Still talking security, a security conference has advocated the centralization of the Nigeria police so as to enhance effective synergy between the police and the civilian populace. Adeniyi Taiwo reports that a former Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, was the lead speaker at a conference organized by the Police Community Relations Committee in Osogbo.
Gathered in this hall are major stakeholders in the security architecture of the country. They have converged in the Osun State capital under the auspices of Osun State Police Community Relations Committee to brainstorm and find workable solutions to the twin problems of terrorism and kidnapping, using people's policing model as a fulcrum. Lead Speaker and former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase, who traced the cold relationship between the police and the civilian populace to the colonial origin of the force, said the police must do whatever was necessary to connect with the community which they serve. These include tinkering with the current structure of the force.
We must all come together and bond perfectly. We must shun terrorism and bombing.
While lending his voice to the call for decentralization of the Nigerian police, Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola said the force believe that wealth can be made through rituals and cultism must be confronted and defeated by growing the local economy for youth engagement. Highlight of the program was the decoration of Governor Aregbesola as the grand patron of PCRC in the state. In Osogbo.
We lost audio from Ibadan Center there. Moving on now, the federal government's directive on the need to increase patronage of locally manufactured goods was brought to the fore when the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, met with the Minister of State, Industries, Trade and Investment, Aisha Abubakar, to work out modalities for collating information on science and technology-based products and services for the international market. Science correspondent Kirian Umayo reports.
The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment developed a template to source local content in human and material resources utilized in the manufacture of goods and services from wholly owned and registered Nigerian companies. The ministry is seeking collaboration with parastatals under science and technology that have to do with industrial production, such as Federal Institute of Industrial Research, FIRO, Raw Materials Research and Development Council, and National Biotechnology Development Agency, NABDA. Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Bonaya Ono, described the move as a healthy developmental initiative.
We want to move the nation to a knowledge-based, innovation-driven economy, and that is what the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology wants to achieve, for the nation.
Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Aisha Abubakar, said that it has become imperative for all ministries, departments and agencies to put structures in place to actualize the objective.
We're here today because we are aware that the Ministry of Science and Technology has about 17 parastatals under it, which have direct relevance to the quality, quantity of our locally manufactured goods.
It will be recalled that an executive order recently signed gave preference to locally made footwears, beverages, furniture and fittings, pharmaceuticals, motor vehicles, construction materials and ICT for procurement at government, ministries, agencies and departments. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
As the world celebrates the Day Against Human Trafficking, individuals and groups have been advised to work towards eradicating the scourge in Nigeria, Africa and the world as a whole. Basi Ita Ikman in the special report takes a look at the effect of human trafficking and the efforts at eradicating the menace.
Trafficking in persons, which is recognized as a serious violation of human rights, has grown to become a widespread and profitable transnational organized crime. The scale of the scourge, according to WHO, indicates that at least 3 million people globally are in situations of forced labor as a result of trafficking.
This event provides a platform for all stakeholders to continue their human trafficking conversation, appraise the effectiveness of our joint efforts to stem the tide of human trafficking.
With all this awareness creation that we are doing, people still want to venture. They still want to go. And many today, every day they die in the Mediterranean Sea.
In Nigeria, several fora to mark the day brainstormed on the effects of the scourge and the way forward.
Affect the future of my fellow young people. So that is why we had to engage in the fight against human trafficking and basically to engage my fellow young people in combating human trafficking.
The NTA has been at the forefront in pursuing the need to defend Nigerians against human trafficking. We cannot relent until we achieve the purpose.
They stress the need for the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the Economic Community of Central African States to come together as a matter of urgency to review the 2006 Plan of Action to stop the increasing flow of irregular migration from West and Central Africa. Basi Taikpan, NTA News.
Spokesperson to the acting president, Laolu Akonde, says the Buhari administration will encourage young people with viable ideas, including those who apply their gifts and talents to promote the unity of the nation. Akonde stated this when he received a Nigerian international classical artist based in the United States, Abiodun Koya. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Ms. Abiodun Koya was on a courtesy call to the office of the acting president to present a new song, Lift Up Nigeria, composed towards the celebration of Nigeria's 57th Independence Day anniversary.
Like the acting president has said over and over again, and the president, actually, it's important for us to continue to project, the unity of this country, that we are better when we are together. The strength of Nigeria is in its diversity. That is why, our office is supporting your project, to promote this song, especially around Independence anniversary. And whatever we can do as a government to support causes like yours, we will be willing to do it. And we encourage young Nigerians, we encourage talented Nigerians, we encourage artists, everyone, pitching in, using their skills, using their talents to advance Nigeria's unity.
In her response, Ms. Koya says she hoped that our song would give Nigerians hope.
We are the giant of Africa. We are the trendsetters in everything, fashion, business, politics, whatever it is. They look up to us. So let us appreciate what we have.
She said despite traveling to many countries of the world, she is still moored to her cultural backgrounds in Nigeria, which have had great impact on her act. Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Obiageli Ugoke brings us stories from the international scene.
On this segment, we'll begin with stories trending in African region. A fight between Al-Shabaab militants and Somali government troops has killed 24 African Union peacekeepers. A regional official said Al-Shabaab ambushed the convoy carrying troops from the African Union mission in Somalia Sunday in the Bulmaria district of the Lower Shabelle region. In the latest developments, Kenya Missing Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission ICT manager Chris Musando has been found dead. The chairman of the commission, Wafulu Chebukati, and the other members visited the city mortuary Monday to view the body and condole the family. Police found his body in a forest area of Kiambu.
We are working with the police and the family to ensure that the killers of Chris Musando must be brought to book.
And Afghan security forces battled gunmen following a suicide attack outside the Iraqi embassy in the city capital, Kabul. Afghan Interior Ministry said the complex was attacked by 4 terrorists. One of them blew himself up at the gate of the embassy, while 3 others entered the compound. Casualty figures are not yet clear, and the Islamic State has claimed responsibility of the attack. In Russia, President Vladimir Putin has directed that 755 U.S. staff must leave diplomatic missions in retaliation for new U.S. sanctions against Moscow. The decision to call staff was made Friday, but Mr. Putin has now confirmed the number who must go by September 1st. It brings staff level to 455, the same as Russia's complement in Washington. That concludes this package. Thanks for being there, and please stay tuned for the rest of the news.
Talking sports now, Nigeria Super Eagles to resume training in Kano, and Amanzi Marcus brings us details of this and more on Sports Update.